Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. The minimum requirement in being a fair, just person is to be, equal or have reciprocity. That is, if a rule applies for you, the same rule should apply for him, the same rule should apply for me. I mean, this is one of the, basic requirements if you think you are just or good. But if you say this rule applies only to you guys but not to me, and you don't give a reason why, you just say because I'm good, then obviously you're not a honorable person, to put it mildly. So what's going on here? I have here an article from New Voice of Ukraine, and this comes from a military, from a general. And this general is not any general. He is a retired U.S. Army Europe Commander General Ben Hodges, who said in an interview this. Ben Hodges, and I'm quoting, "Crimea is essential for Ukraine's sovereignty and future prosperity." So Crimea is not in the United States of America. All right? Crimea was in Russia, then Khrushchev gave it to Ukraine, I think in 1954, if I remember correctly, and then Russians got it back to referenda. One referendum to secede from Ukraine, another referendum to join Russia, like Kosovo, for instance, which is recognized by the Americans. So in this video, we have this imbecile that I would like to ask, okay, all right, you say that that country needs that country's territory to be prosperous. Okay, I would like to ask you a few questions from your history. And that is, like for instance, let's say Spain would claim part of Florida. Only with that, Spain would be prosperous and will ensure future prosperity and sovereignty. Or Cuba can say, you know what, maybe if we are given Florida, we can be more prosperous. Or maybe let's say Mexico say, you know what, United States of America, we didn't like the way you took half of our country through the so-called American-Mexican War, which was you were in our capital and you told us we are going to purchase half of your country, right? And we were like, I guess. We want it back. So what if that happens? What if, let's say, Great Britain, England, says, you know what, guys? No, we don't like the way you took our colonies. Whatsoever, we don't like that. We want them back. All 13 of them. What do you think the Americans should say? Well, we fought a revolution, goddammit. Or they will say, baboon. So I have many examples like this. How about the Russians come for, let's say, for Alaska? Yeah, you purchased it, but we didn't like it. We want it back. And all these guys had direct conversation with them. Let's say the Russians say the US should give, I don't know, as I said, Florida to Spain, only then. Let's say China says, well, maybe the Americans should give, 5 states to Mexico because they took it under the threat of we're going to destroy you. How about, we have Iran saying, man, I think, let's say New Mexico, whatever you got, Alabama, Louisiana should go to Cuba. Or let's say, Canada should take part of the United States of America. Remember, it was the 1812 war between the two baboons. Remember what Benjamin Franklin, that guy from the $100 bill. Remember that guy? I should have one here. Okay, all right. Remember this imbecile right here? Remember? Yeah. So he thought that actually Canada should be America. That's what he thought. He disagreed with the territory, with the line of demarcation, with the border. They said Canada should be American. That's what he said. That guy, that we are having our $100 bill. So my friends, what is this guy talking about? It's called sometimes it's called projection. And not only projection, but you have this blame game because you are always on the attack. You try to keep the other person off balance so doesn't gain balance and say, wait a minute, you're ugly, fat, and your mom dresses you funny. That's why they try to keep you off balance so you don't see his fatness, ugliness, and all that. No, that's what it is. Well, those guys should do this. How about Kosovo, Mr. Hodge? And he says that. Why? It was through a referenda. And if they say, this is how these guys, how do you call it, in the West, portray the Crimean referenda, or the Donbass, the Kherson, Zaporozhia, Donetsk, and Luhansk, and Crimea's, all these things, the referenda that they had. They portray it this way. Those were done under the threat of the Russian guns. Like Mexico. Okay? But those did not vote. Okay? They just did it. And they say, okay, well, the Americans did not threaten the Mexican population. They threatened the leaders. Okay? In the voting thing, you can't threaten everybody. That means you're going to flat them everything. That's why this argument is wrong, flawed. Because they say, well, it was done at the end of the barrel, blah, 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 they threaten. You don't need to do this. You don't need to threaten anybody. You just invite them to vote, but you count the votes. That's what the Russians did, right? So they should change the narrative from, well, the guys voted under the threat. Nobody knows how you vote over there. And by the way, as Stalin said, they want to vote, let them vote. As long as we count the votes. The same thing is in America. Who's counting the votes? Oh, those electoral machines and blah, 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 blah. All right, or maybe however you want. So here is my friend. He talks about Crimea. When he has tons of skeletons over there. You want me to remind you, and if you don't know how the United States of America got Hawaii, they had a queen over there, but Hawaii had production of some citrus, if I remember correctly. And it was Mr. Dawes, who was part of a big company, and he was big in the U.S. Government as well. So it was a coup d'etat, and that's how they got Hawaii. They conquered, they took it, just like that. So, if we go by that, who should we give Hawaii to now? To Japan? Who should we give it to? I'm not going to go further than that. I mean, I can go on and on. Puerto Rico? You want me to go to Puerto Rico? Give it to Spain, my friends. I mean, after all, how did you come into having this country? Oh, by a revolution. Was it tyrannical? Were the guys, King George was tyrannical? Was it King George, I think? Was he tyrannical? Yes, he was. Yes, the massacre from Boston Massacre. Do you remember how many people were massacred in the Boston Massacre? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. 5 or 4. That was the massacre that said, oh my God, we gotta start a revolution. And that was one. No taxation without representation. What? Okay. And then some other things with the T. Remember the T is the T stamp is too much for us. It was an overthrow of a system. And people applauded. It's great what it came after that. I'm for it. But to tell me that that revolution is good, but what happened in Crimea is bad. Why? Because the Ukrainians were very nice with the Crimeans. After some traitors overthrew the government of Yanukovych, legitimate and democratically elected in Ukraine in 2014, with the help of foreign agencies. After they toppled that and destroyed, they started attacking and doing all kind of things with the Russian, ethnic Russians in Ukraine. And then, what happened? This guy said, we don't recognize you. You took power through a revolution, right? So the revolution is good, but the Crimean revolution is not good. The guys in the Donbass revolution is not good, but only the American revolution is good. When those guys sent tanks from Kiev, because this guy said, we don't recognize you because you overthrew a government, you're traitors. So you see, Mr. Hodge, I think is just a little... he's either an idiot, and because he's a general, kind of meets that by definition. The generals are not very bright. Why? I'm not here to bash them, but imagine from what kind of environment they come. They come, supposedly, from being a baboon over there doing and cleaning and yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. So they are very regimented. They will never think outside of a box. And then as they progress, the military wants to have them, oh no, you're gonna learn how to think in the big scheme. After you fuck them for years being, yeah, oh, yes sir, and after that, you just change it and it's gonna be, well, let me discuss that. There's nuances here. No, I disagree with that. When he follows orders all the time, now he's a different man. And then when he gets to the general, after all these 30 years, 40 years, how long you get to get a general? If you get too early, then that's not a general, that's a major. Okay, or maybe a captain. All right, maybe a captain. All right, so you get over there, he's going to be very smart and very cunning, and he knows... Or he's... How do you think the guy is? He's gonna talk... Yeah, let me tell you about the geopolitics here, man, a little bit. Yeah, after all his life, he was a fucking follower. And he gave orders and received orders. All his life, that's his job. Giving orders and receiving orders. You think he's gonna be flexible? He's gonna be look at the adversary's, ideas or anything that he was ordered? No. So that's why, for me, the generals are, whoop, right there. That's why anyway, let's put him aside. Yes, I said it, my God damn it. You don't believe me? You don't have to. Talk to one, talk to two, talk to three of them, and you're going to find that out. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Always the biggest criminal points the finger at everybody else being criminals. Why? Keep them off balance so they don't see that he's fat, ugly, and his mom dresses him funny. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.